Hey guys, welcome back to Music Talk with John. As you can see, I'm not in the music room today. I'm actually on the road, but I'm not in the car right now. I'm actually at a resort in Kissimmee, Florida on Disney property. This is called Bonnet Creek Resort, and it's a place we come to often to just get away for a little bit. If we come during the time where our tickets are available for Disney, we hit the parks. Sometimes we just come here and relax. Just go to the pool, maybe hit Disney Springs, local stuff, things like that. But anyway, so the reason I'm doing the episode from here today is a little while back, a friend of mine sent me an email, told me about a record store in Orlando that was featured on Bay News 9. It's called Rock and Roll Heaven. And we've come here, I don't know how many times since I've known about it and just never could get over there. Well, yesterday, opportunity presented itself, and I took off with my daughter and went over there. And it's in Orlando, Florida, and it's near, I think, Lake Ivanhoe, and it's run by Freddie Eamon. He has owned the store since, I believe he said 85 or 86, and the store's actually existed since the 70s. And this is the record store that I remember, this type of record store that I remember going into when I was a kid. Well, actually, it's a little bit more than that. It's jam-packed with records. Like I remember, like Peaches Records used to be around us on 19 in Clearwater. And it reminds me of that, but then it's like one step further because he has a lot of memorabilia there. It's really cool. You up on the top shelves, and he's even got cases filled with things that I remember from my childhood, things that I had, things that I remember seeing, and also some things you didn't even know existed. There was like a Dennis Miller late night show doll, action figure doll, whatever. I didn't even know that existed. So it was kind of neat to see. But this place it's 3 rooms, and there's just thousands of records in there, things that I didn't see, and I got a great find. I'll show you at the end of the video, the great find here. That I got a hold of. And so the 3 rooms are interesting. So when you first walk in, you're kind of in the middle room. Actually, there's a 4th room in the back. I just thought about it. Okay, so you walk in, and you'll see this, and I'm gonna try to put this video together so it makes sense. There's, just so you know, I usually stop and really try to show what I'm finding and show you the titles, but there's so much. I mean, I would have had to spend 3 days in there trying to get everything together. So I'm going to try to put this video together so you can really see it and get the essence of the store. But anyway, so when you first walk in, you're kind of in the main room where your rock and pop, a bunch of 45s are. He has t-shirts, posters, old magazines, just everything in there. And all along the top shelves, you have all the memorabilia. There's some Star Wars stuff, action figures, original action figures from like the 70s and 80s. There were AT-ATs up there. There were monster masks up there. So anything to do with pulp culture basically is in there. Then cassettes also. There were cassettes in there. And that room also has the jazz in there. And if you go off to the left, there's another room by itself. And it's interesting. I don't know if they do live music in there. It looked like there was a little bit of like a DJ stand set up in there with 2 turntables and a microphone, just like the Beck song. And that room mainly featured your dance mixes, your extended mixes, things like that. Soul music was in there. I think R&B, soul, that kind of stuff. The reggae was in there. So that's what that room was. And again, in that room, and you'll see just all along the top, there's just everywhere you look, there's something. It's not even overwhelming. It's just a comforting place I liked because I like all that kind of stuff. So when you get back out of there and go back into the main room, in the back of it, there is the movie and showroom, I guess. So that's where there was a bunch of DVD, VHS, Disney VHS in there. Then there were some other VHS of regular movies. Then there were albums in there, basically features off of movies. And then all along the top again, there were items from like I think the Lone Ranger was in there. Abbott and Costello, who's on First, those figures were in there, so that was kind of cool. So that was a neat room. So when you come back out of there, and then you go into the far right room, there's a lot of what do you call it, CDs in there, and there were the dollar records. The dollar records are cool because when I talked to Freddie, I think I mentioned his name, Freddie Eman. When I talked to him, he was a cool dude. He's a character. I like him. I didn't know what to think at first, and I warmed up to him afterwards. I kind of got his style. But he said there's the dollar records you'll find in there are anything that has a scratch or a mark on it, he takes and he puts on the dollar record. He doesn't care. It's like it could be a $40 record, and he sees a scratch or a mark on it, and he puts it in the dollar because everything out in the other room is clean. The albums, I had a conversation with him. He said his albums are he gets, sometimes people complain and say, oh, you know, your prices are so high. I really didn't feel that his prices were any higher than what I've seen. I've been to other record stores that deal with mainly used records, and they have high prices, and to be honest, some of their stuff, it's not that clean. They'll mark it up. If it's a jazz album, it's got to be $40 basically, and they mark it up, and you know, but they're making business. So anyway, when he told me that, I was like, well, there's a store that I know that same price as you. I really wasn't shocked at your prices. Actually, there were some good deals. So yeah, he said people do complain about that, but he says, you know, when people come from overseas, like Europe and things like that, that they actually are like, wow, your prices are low. So he gets all kinds in there. But obviously he's doing well. He's got a record store. There were people coming in and out of there while I was there. So it's not, people aren't running away from it because of the prices. So anyway, so that last room with the dollars, so I found out about the dollar records as I was leaving, and I had to really go. I spent some time in there and I needed to get out of there. But I'm going to go back and check out those dollar records, because he said, yeah, I have like a $40 Neil Diamond in there, but it has a scuff, so I put it in the dollar. So I'm like, man, you know, but there's quite a few dollar records in there, so I just didn't have time to go through that. But anyway, so I'm going to go ahead and show you what I found in there. I'm going to try to stop on a couple things so you guys can see it, and you know, just like I said, I'm going to try to capture the essence of the place. And if you're ever in Orlando, you have to check this place out. So all right, so here we go. So sit back, kick your feet up, and let's visit rock and roll heaven in Orlando, Florida. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed that. The bathroom was definitely unique, right? It's the first time I've ever filmed got some loud ducks over there. It's the first time I've ever filmed a bathroom in a record store, and I didn't even know it was back there. It was back by the Jazz Records, and there's a big stand-up of Elvis over there. So you wouldn't even know it's there, but Freddie's like I said, I warmed up to him really over time in there. It didn't take long, but because when I first went in there, I just wasn't sure how to take him, his sense of humor, because I went in and asked permission to walk around and video, and he just kind of looked up at me and said, yeah, you can video to be $10,000. I'm like, okay, I know he's joking, but does this guy not want his place videotaped? Maybe, he doesn't, he's protective over how videos are created or whatever. And here I found out later that there's several videos already out there. You can check those out of people that have gone there. But as I was walking around, he came up to me and was just talking, and he said, oh, where are you from, and all that, and I told him, and he's like, oh, that's cool. I said, I have a small channel that I'm started here, and I'm trying to build it, and he's like, cool, man, go at it. So it's cool. So while I was walking around, he comes over, taps me on the shoulder, kind of whispers in my ear behind me, like, go check out the bathroom. I'm like, okay. I'm like, where's the bathroom? He goes, just go back there, you'll find it. I didn't find it. It's really, you wouldn't have seen it. It's, you got to really go back past the Jazz to where Elvis is, and you notice there's a little opening. And as you go through that opening, there's, right when you turn, there's a whole wall of records right there. I don't even know what those are, but there's just records stacked right there. And you turn to the right, and there's a door, and the door just has signatures all over it. And you open it up, and it reminds me of the Rolling Stones Beggar's Banquet album, with they had like graffiti and writing all over the walls, and it was a toilet. It was I'm like walking into the album. It was cool. It was like a sink with like, not dirty, but stained, so it's cool looking, and you have the toilet there, and then just from all the walls, and you can see in the video, all the way up to the ceiling, there were signatures. And he said there's famous signatures in there. I wish I had more time, because after he talked to me a little bit more about it afterwards, I wish I had a little more time to really look at it and see who was on there, because he says there's bands and acts that come in, famous people that visit the store. So it's a really cool place. So I hope you were able to see it, and I captured it for you to really check it out. So anyway, while I was there, I showed you an album that I came across, and it's an album I've been looking for. And to be honest with you, I haven't even listened to the whole album, but people rave about this album on YouTube all the time, especially Melinda Murphy. She finally got a good copy of it for herself. But this is the Zombies, Odyssey and Oracle. It's a reissue. The song you might know off of this that's famous is Time of the Season. So if you haven't heard it or don't recognize the title, pull up the song and you'll probably recognize it. It's a very distinct sound. I always liked it as a kid, and when people talk about this so much, I'm like, well, I got to pick it up, and I just haven't even had time to listen to it, but I'm glad I got it. I'm sure I'm going to enjoy this. And this came out in 1968. Like I said, it's a reissue, but as soon as I saw it, I grabbed it, because you just don't see it anywhere. It's kind of cool, because my recent finds are this one, and I actually picked up finally a copy of Funkadelic's Maggot Brain. So I finally got a copy of that, reissued, but always wanted a copy, and it's like all of a sudden these two albums presented themselves to me, so I grabbed them. The other one I had here that I picked up, this is, I believe it's like a Black Friday or record store day. Lovely artwork on this thing, it's really cool. This is Charlie Parker. It's a compilation. It's the Magnificent Charlie Parker. I think I showed in the video there was a lot of Charlie Parker albums, and that's what I do like about this place. Not to knock any of the record stores that I've gone to, but this place, I've never seen a record store that has I mean, there's Muddy Waters, and I've never seen Charlie Parker. I would hardly ever find Charlie Parker. There's some Buddy Rich in there. There's just people I've never seen before, and they were there. So I looked through the Charlie Parker albums that were available there, and I looked up on the internet while I was there to see, okay, what are the go-to albums for Charlie Parker? What is his best albums? You know, like Miles Davis, it's Kind of Blue. So I looked it up, and he didn't have any of those, and I was trying to kind of figure out which one to get because I don't know any of his music. And I saw this, I'm like, let me just start with this one. Let me go here. They put it on a compilation. That could be a good thing or a bad thing for Black Friday. But I went ahead and just picked this one up. This just kind of spoke to me. I really liked that. So I went ahead and grabbed that. So 2 albums that I haven't listened to yet. I think the Zombies is, they're on black vinyl. I don't remember if Charlie Parker, oh yeah, he's got it actually very cool. It's a yellow vinyl, and it's obviously cool because it goes with that. So that is pretty neat. It's got a little sketching on there too. You can see that little drawing on there that matches the artwork on the front of the album. So it's very happy in there. I could have walked away with a ton of stuff, but my wife would have killed me, so that wasn't going to happen. So I just enjoyed it, just knowing there's so many options, and I bet you if I go back, I'll find something again, because there was just every genre in there. I mean, everything, oldies to jazz to funk to soul, R&B, reggae, dance, everything was in there, and albums that I've only seen on YouTube were there. Original copies, reissues, everything. So there's so much to look at. And you know, it's like when I go to IKEA and there's so much stuff around and I get like overwhelmed with that. This was so much stuff around me but it didn't overwhelm me. So that was the cool thing. Probably because I'd rather be in a record store than IKEA. But it was just a cool experience. So if you ever get to Orlando, near the Lake Ivanhoe area, definitely check out Rock and Roll Heaven. It's definitely a unique place. Just loved it. So that's pretty much it. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching again. Please, if you enjoy me here, hit the subscribe button and the notification so you know when new videos are out. And definitely leave me some comments. I've been getting more comments lately, even more. And I love it because I like to know what people are enjoying, what albums they have. Somebody recently had a Duffy that I would like to get a hold of, and they have a copy of it, so I'm a little bit jealous of them. So yeah, it's cool. I like talking to everybody. It's just a neat way to communicate. So anyway, good talking to you, and until next time, enjoy your music. Take care.